After 10 years of slumber, the king of demons returns to terrorize the world, but first he must kill the hero who defeated him the first time. But upon discovering that the hero has abandoned himself, he decides to train him to fight. Within the confines of a dark and ruined castle, the fate of all mankind hangs in the balance. Beings led by the most charismatic and powerful Maus find themselves on their knees before the overwhelming force of the king of the demons, who do not know what happened after a bloody and epic battle. Hopes seem to fade, but in an act of bravery and firmness, more sealed in the face of adversity, inspiring their companions not to abandon the fight. Driven by the unwavering support of their friends, the group unites to launch a last and desperate attack. Strengthened by the bond they share with their companions and by their unwavering idealism, they finally manage to put an end to it. To the reincarnation of the evil Demon King, in his last words, he can't help but recognize the bravery and determination of the group, especially he was also the one who defeated him. However, he warns that this is not the end and promises to return at some point to lead his hosts and take revenge. A decade has passed since the world was safe for its inhabitants again. But what nobody imagines is that the Demon King has returned full of desire for revenge. He used to have, now he finds himself in a tiny regger of this body of a child who is dressed in clothes by his assistant demon. As a child, the Demon King wants to know about the whereabouts of his army, and he informs her that after the defeat the demons entered a state of torpor waiting for their leader, a state that they have not yet awakened. As a result of the root is at that moment without a kingdom to govern. After trying on different clothes courtesy of his Demon King, made questions with great interest about the whereabouts of Mons El High Copyright Ro, who defeated him and saved the world, assured that after such an impressive sign he must be treated like king more than there must be many other exciting ones adventures in these 10 years. However, it would be answered that it is in that case, since for some reason Med's whereabouts and current status are a mystery. No one knows where he is or what the Demon King has been doing in his scheming mind. He becomes even more excited as he anticipates a battle of epic proportions when they finally face off. He tries to calm down the spirits of Rhinus, insisting that instead of worrying about a feud or a battle, he should take care of the obligations and the paperwork backlogged in the last 10 years. But the Demon King insists that first of all he must fight his enemy and defeat him because of all the possible threats upon his return to the hero's presence, the most significant as Xenia tries to reassure him, arguing that despite the superhuman strength of he is still human, and as everything is destined to grow old and die, so his power will eventually fade and it shouldn't be a big problem. The demon secretary notes that his answer does not pass everything to the Demon King, and this, suspecting that they are denying to be hiding something. The question directly, Xenia panics and begins to doubt, which makes the Demon King fear that his enemy has died without him having been able to execute his revenge. But when Ray doubts, he activates his third eye, a unique ability that allows him to detect people's vital energy. Quickly perceives the vital presence of Max, who is somewhere in the room. Imperial capital of humans determined. The Demon King explains his majestic salts and departs in looking for his enemy jury, leaving behind a repentant sign of those who regret what is about to happen. Flying over the world, Demon King observes how it has evolved in these 10 years towards a modern society similar to that of contemporary Japan, with imposing buildings, motorized and bustling shopping malls. Through his perception, he accurately detects his enemy's energy, what Jonathan anticipates for the desperation he will feel the most, knowing that the demon he enters an apartment complex within one of 2 apartments submerged in a dirty and neglected environment. The Demon King makes his great presentation in front of someone who seems to be half asleep, surrounded by garbage, a bottle of alcoholic beverages. Both stars in a moment of astonishment when they come face to face and see the deplorable state that their half asleep, half drunk enemy is in. Perhaps both ask him, the Demon King, who he is and what he wants from him. Place of the detects the presence of Blazebringer, the holy sword, on a garbage bag. Life, the Demon King, as he is shocked to see how the sword that used to cut his arm into strips is now treated as if it were rubbish from the day before, which fills him with fury. Later, the 2 former talk, and the Demon King still cannot believe that he is facing the one who defeated him in the past. Of a hero explains to me that this is a product of aging, something that in all people, but the king reminds him that only 10 years have passed, not that long actually. The next topic that arises is the smell inside the apartment, since the king noted a plague that bothers even him as a result of the accumulated garbage and the determined body odor. Demon begins to clean the garbage place a bit in his cleaning array, finds the laptop and recognizes it as a digital device that humans use to communicate. After a while more, a tired fact asks the Demon King why he has come to visit him. The king accuses him of having become too cold cubed mode after his victory, presenting that he would never fight again, but now he finds himself in front of the king of the demons, who has returned stronger than ever. He asks him if he is not going to respond to his statements if he does not have a challenge or a phrase worthy of a hero. But he answers no, that everything is fine. Dismissed almost immediately. I am enraged. Even more. Demon King, who cannot believe how humans treat their own, even their outraged heroes. The Demon King uses the computer too much to make an express search of the 10 years that he was absent and discovers that he was not forgotten, as well as that he was actually the protagonist of different scandals such as an affair with a married woman, assaults in public, and his son known. Moore defends himself by saying that he did not know that the woman was married and that he was the victim of a trap to get money with respect to the assault charges. He argues that a group of men he attacked him and Exodus defended himself. He assures that none of the accusations, including the one that points to him as a serial deceiver, is real. However, if he appears, he considers them funny for what it is. That the Demon King was taught with him. He searches the internet for a positive video from his past and finds the report that he was made after defeating the demon army, where he makes a cheesy speech about friendship and goodness. The Demon King laughs listening to the speech and understands why people consider him more of an insufferable good-natured person and they hate him. Hero of the pinnacle of his heroism, and the question that was from his friend's master answers that he has not known anything about them for years and that the relationship did not last after they will destroy their common enemy. The Demon King tells him that it is this attitude that opened the gap between him and his friends, so he asks him to leave. The king realizes that this is exactly the reason why he did not want him to see the hero. The Demon King leaves, saying that he is glad that humans have a hero since he will return with his army and end everything. However, he is surprised when he tells him that it is okay that humanity could use to be eliminated, even his former friends. This statement is the straw that breaks the camel's back, and the Demon King does not. He can contain his fury by attacking Moore. However, he quickly defeats him, showing that he still has a couple of tricks up his sleeve. The duo, already a little calmer, drink some tea, and the Demon King asks him why he did not kill him when he attacked him. Master replies that with the world as it is, if he had killed him, it would cause him more problems with the press, who would affirm that he murdered a son. No. The recognized Demon King tells him that at the moment when he hit him, he recognized the real one and assures him that he will do everything possible to make him become that hero again. However, moreover, he tells him that this gives ambition to be a hero. He faded along with his fame, his fortune, and his friends, so his shower is over. However, he assures him that there is nothing to worry about, since surely the time will come when another hero will rise to save the world. After this meeting, Demon Lightning says goodbye and thanks him for the visit. Deep down, that night of the Demon King was fun. Destroyed the other also. In this way you can get acquainted with this new world tonight. The dozen homemade food, while the ghost that lives in the closet of curious tables on the hard day. The Demon King tries to wake up more so that he can have breakfast and start his day in a slightly healthier way, but the man does not respond to his call. Raya insists on waking him up, but it seems that this series is going to end sooner than expected, since apparently the hero has finally died. You must insist. The king achieves a reaction from the hero confirming that he is still alive, but he calms down a little later. After breakfast I go for a walk, and the Demon King asks him where he is going, but he completely ignores the route and tells him that he goes to accompany him, but he tells him that she is not his mother and that also people cannot see the hero of humanity walking with a demon. So he tells him that when he solves the matter of having 3 eyes and a horn, you will see if he wants to go out with him. He makes me withdraw, and the Demon King wonders what he does every day and if it is likely that he is training in secret to strengthen himself and defeat Rey. He decides to go out as a spy, but you know that he is right and his shape will attract attention. But remember that one of his powers is transmutation that allows him to change shape. Remembering that according to signs, the clothes he is wearing are what humans describe as a high school uniform. Demon King decides to take the form of a high school student of a suitable age in order to go unnoticed. In this way, Demon King uses his transmutation magic to transform his body into that of a voluptuous young woman, but without considering that the schoolboy outfit is a bit too small for him. He also realizes that he needs all his concentration to keep his bodies hidden, since when he is distracts little by little he is recovering his form. Chibi. The Demon King walks through the streets where he draws everyone's attention due to his clothing and realizes everything that has changed in the human kingdom in the last 10 years as they have built taller buildings and improved means of transportation. After going through a video store, the Demon King locates Moore and prepares to follow him in his daily routine to see what the king is doing. He continues to a grocery store where the man buys a new mouth and an alcoholic drink that now as soon as he leaves the building, and the demon realizes that this complete training that he believed does not really exist anymore. He sits on a bench in the square to have a drink and contract the vacuum. Suddenly a group of children arrives and invites Moore to play soccer. which gives the children amusing themselves with their feats until it is time to retire. Matter returns to the bench in the square where he takes a nap until a group of delinquents comes to bother him. The Demon King witnesses how these delinquents bother more than he does not respond to their aggressions, but when he sees that he can lose his game control thing that would put him in trouble, Demon King decides to help his enemy by casting a spell that puts Demon King back to sleep in his the Chibiya form appears in front of Moss and tells him that the delinquents will not bother him again, and he asks him why he did not help him before the two return to the apartment, and more is expected that this day has been a revelation for the Demon King and that he realizes that he is no longer the hero he believed but that this is his life as it is alcohol in the square entertaining a group of children with old women stories and being beaten by others without being able to defend himself. The Demon King tells him that not having defended himself is a show of honesty, so he has no doubt that the hero is still there more than it is time to return to. He also asks him to come forward since he has something to do before while you're making the Demon King's dinner. He wonders what that thing he had to do the most is and the question that he has been drinking again, but in reality the hero goes to the video store the next day while he was opening with his department. He observes the beautiful young woman in the schoolgirl outfit and was surprised by her way of dressing that leaves no imagination at all. However, he loses sight of the young woman when Demon King enters the apartment with the bag of errands ready to cook. The baby asks Demon King if he saw the beautiful young woman with few clothes, but the latter does not know who she is talking about and gets angry at the fact that humans think about it in how women dress. Later the duo, while the ghost of Glove watches silently as always without being detected before starting dinner, someone knocks on the door of the apartment and the Demon King goes to hang out only to discover some medical fan scene from the other side that you must starve. He faints. Later that boy eats all the dinners of our heroes, congratulating the king for his culinary skills, but he complains that he has run out of dinner, but the Demon King tells him she says that it's not a big deal and that later the Demon King will buy more introductions, and the more she finds it hard to believe that the woman in the swimsuit is Rei's faithful servant, but Zenny tells her that her appearance is due to the fact that she walked the earth for 3 days and 3 nights to find her master. Our heroes tell her that it would have been easier to travel using human means of transportation instead of walking on the ring. She replies that no matter where she went, humans were watching and harassing her because of her demonic nature, but further tells her that it was most likely because of her attire rather than her appearance. Snowhorns asks the Demon King to please return to his castle, fearful of what his relationship with Moore can do for his offended IQ. Demon King tells him that it is in a way of addressing the one who gives him food, and also does not explain that the real reason he lives with Moore is to experience the human world and gather information for when the time comes to destroy humanity. Cindy berates the Demon King for his obsession and with Moore and tells him that this has already lasted too long, since he hoped that once he saw the sorry state of the hero he would return to his castle and his obligations. Moore agrees with him, hoping that Red will leave and be able to return to his normal life of mediocrity, but insists that if he leaves, he will die if he stays. They only think that the problem here is Moore. Annie decides to nip the whole thing in the bud and kill off the hero to be able to recover his king, taking out some brass knuckles. Max wonders what metal they are for, and the Demon King tells him that he has no attitude towards magic, which explains why she had to come walking from the realm of demons, who defeats him without the slightest effort, saying that she is nothing compared to Ticket's demons that he sent to the afterlife. The Demon King stops the fight and forces a serious apology for his behavior. The secretary does so, also acknowledging the strength of the hero. While Ednya takes a shower, the Demon King apologizes more for his secretary's behavior, and Moore recognizes that although it was not difficult for him to beat the secretary, he has superhuman strength that must be taken into account. After this day, the King of Monio tells her to help herself to a drink from the fridge while she goes to buy more groceries. She is left alone with Moore and starts insulting you and getting a bit aggressive, so the more she realizes that a single can of alcoholic drink is more than the demon can bear, and that as a drunk she is a threat and aggressive. That is, she does not even attack again. More than she discovers the hard way that alcohol has increased the demon's fighting skills and strength. So she decided to chase Irene through the streets of the city, tearing off the towel that covered her body and being completely outdoors after a race throughout the city where everyone is witnessing what happened. Our hero arrives at the playground. He got rid of a few drops. Enya, that although he is actually passing from the alcohol, has decided to put an end to it. Fortunately, the police arrive and arrest Senya for exposure indecent and take her away in a patrol car, while she and others are taken away by the police, and they tell Derby that they still remember his exploits and recognize that without him the world would have ended, so they decide not to press charges this time and take them home the next day, the Demon King humbly apologizes for leaving behind his secretary, further tells him that everything is fine as long as he has returned home, but is surprised when he discovers that he had rented the ice cream department and is now the new neighbor tells her that no matter what happened the night before, she still does not trust the hero, and the famous king wants to keep a close eye on him, and from now on the apartment will become the base of operations for the demons. Meanwhile, in a government building, a young man with bouncy hair is sitting alone in his office watching a video of the persecution from the night before, and not only recognizes that the woman is a demon but also knows that he has been persecuted as nothing more and nothing less than more in the past, with the world was still assumed in the chaos and the war between the humans and the demons was at its peak. Plus the hero and his battle partner Leo arrives in a town where a parish has headed an aorta of demons attacks our heroes, but both are surprised when they discover that none of the demons are able to pass through an invisible barrier surrounding the church, handed over to the heroes, who decide to investigate a little further. Inside the church, a group of clerics are selling protection amulets backed by the fact that since they arrived in town no demon has come near, which, according to them, demonstrates the power of amulets. Without, however, they also warn people that new species of demons have appeared, species that seem to be immune to the old German ones, so offer new and improved protection amulets at a bargain price. Townspeople rush to clerics to buy TA without protecting their loved ones. At the same time, more idio enter the church and joke among themselves that they should buy some talismans even though they know they are just a scam. One of the clerics assure that the talismans are real if they have the power to drive away any demon that appears. A skeptical Leo approaches them where he says again what he thinks they are false, to which the cleric kindly replies that if they have nothing to add to the conversation they are free to withdraw. While they discuss with the cleric, a high-ranking demon in the shape of a ram attacks the magical shield that surrounds the town, opening a hole in it and allowing the horde of demons into the city. The clerics show they can face off against the demons, but when the townspeople try to use the Taliban to defend themselves, they discover to their dismay that the amulets are indeed fake and they have no effect against the demons. The main cleric fights the demons and soon allies with our heroes to face the demonic threat. Back to the present, more he has breakfast with the Demon King. The Demon King demonstrates a notebook about the hero's adventures, but Moore tells him that he is not in the mood for such things and knows how to walk. When he asks what wish, the Demon King tells him what else he has trouble with, reconcile with his past and his old friends on the street, but he doesn't know what to do with his day, and he tells himself that he should go see some videos. But suddenly he is ambushed by a reporter and his camera asks him what he knows about the video of a naked wet woman chasing a man, and he asks him if that man is him. He says that it is being the one on the video and that the woman is an acquaintance who had one drink too many. The journalist, who is looking for a scandal, asks him different questions: if the woman is of legal age, if they are in a relationship, and her identity is Moore tells him that the woman works in an office but leaves before giving more information to the media that are determined to make them look bad before the reporter leaves. Asking what she thinks about the illegal occupation of the Gamer Republic in the most adapted region of the continent by the incentive warrior comrade Leo Backstay Nora, and he leaves, but the journalist insists on following him to see where he lives and take photos of the mysterious women leaving his house. However, as soon as they turn corners, our now defunct hero Master returns home a little angry that the video has gone viral but happy that no one has noticed given that Xania is a demon without knowing it. Our hero is watched by three mysterious people, one of whom is the cleric that will be found years ago, who now dresses more elegantly, and cleric sees with irony as the one who was the strongest hero in the world now lives in a seedy apartment. He reprimands Moore for arriving dirty when suddenly the two of them feel a powerful magical energy approaching that he hides in the closet so that there is no inconvenience of some kind of misunderstanding while having her as a strange visitor. The demon accepts and our hero opens the door and is surprised to discover that her visitors are offered by nothing more and nothing less than one of her former allies and now head of Kingdom Magic Bureau, Fred, who has a more social attitude, accustomed to working in politics. Health kindly more than doesn't seem too happy about Green. More, I invite you into his former friend, but do not extend the invitation to his subordinates who remain waiting outside while the two friends catch up during this surprise to see that the department is a relatively decent place and expected it to be more messy. The cleric does not turn his back on our hero of cast on the floor and tells more than such rally that she shouldn't be lying on the floor, but she says no, he has use for it, and when he advises to keep it in the closet, The more he answers that it has no place, Freddy continues wanting to make a conversation to lighten the atmosphere by remembering old friends and old adventures, but he tells him to stop wasting time and tell him the real reason why you should meet. Freddy loses his smile, he becomes serious and sits down in front of our hero, telling him that he needs to talk to him about Leo and the recent situation of the Gamma Republic. Apparently Deo founded the Gamma Republic and separated it from the kingdom, but unlike what everyone believes in the Republic, it is not a common country but a terrorist organization that is illegally occupying lands that belong to the kingdom. The problem is that apparently the Finger has convinced every warrior and fighter of the kingdom to join them in the Republic of Kamada. So their army is growing alarmingly from both of them, which caused some people in high places to be uncomfortable with that situation. Fred knows that sooner or later he will have to fight against Leo, his former friend and ally, as that it was the most help, since together they will be able to stop causing too much damage. Freddy says more than that. If the royal army joins, everything will be able to resolve the dispute with the Republic as quickly as possible and without bloodshed, and that this would also help improve our hero's reputation. Army will not be as a soldier but will go straight in as a higher rank. Fred loses his cool as he watches his friend, his comrade in arms and their leader sink into misery, fearful of accepting any kind of responsibility, and after fighting against his former friend, he tells him that he does not believe in the kingdom or in his obligations. So he ends the meeting and heads towards the door. But before leaving, he takes out his last abaha. The domanga. Freddy says that he has seen a viral video of the naked woman who is chasing him, and although he tries to minimize the situation, Fred tells him that he has realized what no one else noticed and asks the question, since when has he also been with a demon woman? Cleric tries to cheat more, causing him to wonder what would happen to his already tarnished reputation when all the media finds out that the hero of mankind it is a relationship with one more demon. He tries to deny the accusations, but Freddy says that he is not a fool and that since the moment he arrived he has not stopped feeling a demonic presence emanating from inside his base. Seeing that he has no options left, Department noticed something strange, but our hero doesn't know what he means. Scared and weak from the vision of the ghost, Frieza retires after Fred goes to the emerging Demon King. What he thinks of that situation, our hero tells him that they cannot compromise on his friend's problems. The Demon King tells him not to worry because if something bad happens to him and they will kick him out of his apartment, he can go live with him in the castles of the demonic kingdom. More help both for the good of the kingdom and himself, but he also promises that he will never return to that haunted apartment. Back to the past, the warriors and the cleric defeat the ram demon and a friendship is forged between them.